Hello Mommies! Welcome back to my channel. Now before we begin, of course, I would like to invite everyone to follow me on my other social media pages. The links are down below. For today's video, we are going to do a bunch of honest reviews of the products I recently purchased. And before we begin, I would just like to say that all of the opinions that I have expressed on this video is not geared towards negativity onto any of the shops. I just mean to give proper reviews about the things that I got from them on recent purchases. Earlier on this week, I also sent out messages to several shops asking them to give me a mystery package worth 500 pesos. And this first shop that I will be showing you is one of the first responders. So here is the package. I'm going to show it to you right now. This is actually sent to me on the same day that I sent my payment to the shop. So with that, I really give props to the owner of the shop for sending me this on a short notice. It is very well packaged, although as I might say, for a mystery box there isn't much of a mystery because I can see all of the things inside. I don't really mind. So let's just open the package up and see what's inside. The first package. I'm so excited. Let's see the things that we get. I can see already right off the bat two cakes of yarn. I'm sorry. So what I like about this package is actually it has a label on it with the name of the shop. There it is, Crafty Mommy, and it also has a label where you can see how many grams of yarn you're actually purchasing. So I was also surprised to see that there was a metal thingy at the beginning of the yarn at the center, so it's easier for me to actually grab that and work at this yarn. There's a little package right here, but we will open that later. Let's just put it aside for now and just look at the next yarn from this shop. And it looks like an Indofill cake. It's actually a gradient cake, which I absolutely love. There's not a lot of shops recently that are selling Indofill cakes. Most of the gradients, actually Indofill gradients, I'm sorry, most of the Indofill gradients that are available recently are just limited, and the people who are selling Indofill sell them mostly on single colors. So to see someone selling Indofill gradients like this at 272 grams, I'm pretty stoked. And I can actually imagine a couple of projects that I'm gonna be making these with, especially now that it's made to order season, Christmas season. So pretty stoked. What I do like about the yarn cakes that they supplied me was that it does have that metal pendant in the center that tells you where the beginning of the yarn is, so it's not going to be difficult for you to find it. They also sent me this small package with yarn, with a hook inside. So as I opened it, I was pretty surprised to see the ergonomic hook that they gave me. It's made with a regular hook, from what I understand, because I think I do have a hook with a similar material in my stash. So the thing that you're paying for, I guess, is the craftsmanship on the handle, which is pretty exquisite. There are a lot of sparkles on it, and it's made with polymer clay, and the color on this is actually on a gradient color, which is actually hard to make in polymer clay, quite honestly. This is honestly something that I wouldn't buy for myself, specifically because I'm very stingy when it comes to my yarn hooks. I would actually go for the cheaper ones and then use the money for yarn budget. But it's also nice to have this with you, especially if you want to gift it to someone who's collecting this kind of hook. It has a really nice color. The grip is nice also. Now adding the polymer clay at the bottom for the handle, and it's really nice. I can imagine having someone customize this for a friend, and I think it would be a good buy if you're looking for something that's really customized. So another thing about their package is this set of, I think, stitch markers, which also has smiley faces or pendants made of polymer clay. It does look really sturdy and it's really, really cute. I believe that this shop actually uh, specializes in a lot of customizable items, so having these is really good. Again, personally, I don't use these kinds of stitch markers, and on a regular basis I wouldn't buy them because number one, I use a lot of cotton yarns, and I think this kind of stitch markers would easily snag on them. But I did try them on my cotton projects, and so far they haven't snagged yet, so that's a good thing. I also measured, of course, being the OC person that I am, I always try to weigh in the yarns that I receive from my seller. And I was actually having a heart attack on the first weighing of this yarn because the label says it's 187 grams, and on the weighing scale it says 118.9. But I actually checked the invoice for this, and thank God they do have an invoice, and on the invoice it did say 118 grams. So this is, I think, wrong labeling but proper weight. So I also weighed in the other yarn cake, which is 172 on the label and appeared 173.4 on the scale. So with that, we're good. And yeah, in terms of, total scoring for the shop, the responsiveness is really, really great. I looked into a lot of their projects, and they really churn out a lot of awesome products. So do check out their page. I will put their link down below. The owner of the shop is really responsive. Again, customizable things is not for me, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you people out there are into these sorts of stuff. So by all means, support her page, like it, and buy the things that you need from her. So that's about it. So these are all the things that I got from her shop. I got 2 cakes, 3 stitch markers, and an ergonomic hook. So that's the worth of 500 pesos. The next shop that I am going to show you guys is actually something that has intrigued me because they are pretty new in terms of the yarn selling business, and they really sell cheap yards. Like when I say cheap, I mean it's really cheap. Like they sell it per cone, and the cones are really huge. I think the smallest that they can give you is about a kilo, but I was lucky enough to get something a little bit smaller for this. But as you can see, as I open this box, I will show you how big the yarn skins. Well, not skins, it's actually yarn cones for this shop. If you're planning to resell yarns, I think they are a good shop to go to. Just a reminder, of course, when you're buying these kinds of yarns, or if you're buying any kinds of yarns and from any sellers in the Philippines, I repeat, if you're buying any kind of yarn from any seller in the Philippines, please, please set your expectations, especially if those yarns are not hand dyed or handcrafted. A lot of the yarns that people are selling in the Philippines are coming from cones just like this, and they actually are stored in facilities that, of course, when they're sealed, but just like any kind of fabric that you store in a long time, they do get a certain smell. um, this is actually pretty nice. It doesn't look like it's been stored for a long time. It does have a bit of discoloration in some parts, but in general, the yarn quality is really great. I can imagine myself making a lot of projects with this. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is 8 ply. And if I am going to rewind this again into smaller yarn cakes, I think I'm gonna be able to make 5 or 6 out of this. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm looking at maybe rewinding this or making in them like gradient yarns for my personal use and personal projects. So stand by for more videos. I will showcase these yarns again and try to use them on some of my projects so that I will see more about their quality. But considering that I think this is about 70 pesos, or I guess less per kilo, this is really a good steal. If you're someone who is just starting in yarn making and you want to try something out, or if you're a yarn seller out there, or maybe someone who sells crafts, this is really a good thing to invest on because they sell things in bulk generally. Um, they do have limited options when it comes to colors, so you just need to get the colors that you can from the current supply, and then get as much as you need for your project, because just like any other yarn supply store in the Philippines, or actually even the branded ones, you can never get the same hue of yarn from the ones that you've purchased recently. So please do set your expectations to your from your sellers whenever you buy yarn, because I noticed that a lot of people are sending hate to the sellers for not having the supply of the yarns that they need. Maybe the color is not the same, but it's basically not the seller's fault. It's your responsibility as the buyer to buy the color of the yarn that you need at that specific time. So with that said, let me just tour you to the page of this yarn seller, Sinulid.Crfts. Actually, I wasn't aware that they do have a specified page for this. I got through them from a posting on the Yarn Over group on Facebook, and the things that they were selling them were just yarns. So when I got to their page and saw that they're selling a lot more, I was pretty stoked. And I would like you guys to support their page as well. I would put their link down below. Send them some love, of course. For the last package that I'm going to unbox for you guys, this is actually something that I was supposed to unbox a few weeks ago for my birthday, but I was pretty busy with a lot of stuff, and I thought that this would be the perfect time to open it up for you guys. This is actually from one of my favorite shops, Miss Crochet a Lot from Baguio City, and she recently ventured into selling smaller cakes, because she is actually a seller that I buy Radiant yarns from. And I was pretty stoked when she released this new kind of yarn, which she called Munchkin. So they come into this, they're packaged into 100-gram yarn balls, yarn cakes, just like this. As usual, they're packaged really nice. It tells you the dimensions of what you're actually buying, and the yarn quality or the thread quality that is used into making this kind of yarn is really great. I'll show you that in every thread they actually combine different colors of yarn to give that unique vibe to it. Am I used to this kind of yarn? Well, I'm very familiar with using cotton yarns, of course, but I'm not really used to just using like 100-gram balls of yarn. This is actually 60 pesos per 100 grams. So compared to your usual plain colors, this is a bit pricey, but you have to keep in mind that you're actually not paying for just the yarn, but also the craftsmanship that goes behind it, or the process that is involved into combining these colors, figuring out which colors go great with whatever in the yarns that you're buying, and in that it results into a more unique set of yarn colors, which is actually brilliant, because whenever you make your projects with this, you're pretty sure that whoever gets it gets a unique set of yarn colors. And it's actually hard to part ways with made to order items made with these kinds of yarns, because I was like, am I gonna get these colors again? I usually order a lot, but because of the price of this being too far from the regular price of plain cotton yarns, I actually held back. But they're really, really great. They're awesome as always. So props to Miss Crochet a lot as always. You know, she never fails to supply you with great yarns. Uh, and I'm pretty stoked. Please, of course, watch out for videos wherein I'm going to be using this yarn set. And if you have any suggestions on what kinds of projects I can make with this kind of yarn, please do comment them down below. And of course, I'll try my best to make those projects for you or make a tutorial for you. And you know, let's explore more projects and crocheting together. Miss Crochet a lot do tend to sell just a couple of pieces of yarn, especially on her gradients. There's only limited there's only a limited number of cakes per gradient every time that she sells it. So make sure that when you see her post her designs or post her yarns, you go to her page and then buy what you need at that time. Because when you run out of the yarn that you're using for your project, well, good luck to you, man. But everything's worth it. Just like any kind of yarn that I've ever bought in her shop, I always like have a great time unboxing them and then looking at them afterwards. It's like it's a good yarn to put on your stash just to hoard. So those are the yarns that I actually showcased for today. Did you like them? Is there any shop that you want me to review? Is there any products that you want me to try out? Comment down below or send me a message on the other social media platforms, and of course I'll do my best to do them for you. Don't forget to send love to all of the pages that I actually showcased on today's video. I will be doing a lot more of this yarn mystery boxes, so stay tuned and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!